Today in our 2017 Lexus RX 450h, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13282. Here we can see our Curt hitch installed on our Lexus, and the nice thing about this is it is going to be mainly hidden. It's going to be very minimal, and it's not going to be distracting from the looks on our Lexus. It is going to have that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, which means we're going to have a ton of options for accessories that we can mount. So if you have a small trailer, get a ball mount, or if you need to transport a few bikes, a bike rack, or maybe you're taking the family on a trip and you need a cargo carrier for that extra space. The hitch is going to be tucked up nicely right to the back of the fascia, and we can see it's pretty even from the side. So we're not going to have to worry about hitting our leg on it if we're walking behind our Lexus or if we're loading something in the back. Our Curt hitch is going to have a loop style safety chain connection point. It's going to be welded to the bottom of the receiver tube, and as you can see, we're going to have a decent amount of room to get most size hooks on or off without worrying about binding up or the limited space. As far as how we're going to mount all of our accessories, it is a Class 3, so it's going to take a standard 5/8 pin and clip. They're not included, but we do have a variety of pin and clips as well as locking devices that you can pick up on our website. Our Curt's going to feature a 600-pound tongue weight, which is going to be a good amount for any kind of cargo carrier or even a bike rack. But if you are towing a small trailer, you want to double check that weight and make sure you don't exceed that. As far as the gross trailer weight rating goes, and that's going to be the maximum amount our hitch can pull, that's going to be a total of 4,000 pounds. And that includes the trailer and anything you load on it, so you want to double check everything and you don't ever want to exceed that weight rating. Now our hitch is compatible with weight distribution systems. The tongue weight is going to stay the same, but our gross trailer weight rating is going to jump up to 5,000 pounds. Now with all of that in mind, you always want to double check your Lexus's owner's manual because you don't want to over exceed the amount that it can pull or go over the manufacturer's recommended weight. I'd like to give you a few measurements, and that's going to come in handy whenever you're looking for accessories for your new hitch. From the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening is going to be right about 17¼ inches. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 4¼ inches. Now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to need to remove our lower appearance panel at the very back. Now we're going to set it aside once we have it removed so it can be trimmed later. Along the edge here, we're going to have several plastic pushpin fasteners. And you'll notice that there's a small notch around the edge. I want to take a flathead screwdriver, go in between that notch and pop the center section out. We're just going to take the tension off of the pushpin, then we can get it underneath the bottom and pull the rest of it out. Now at the very back of our wheel well area, on the driver's side, we're also going to have a few bolts holding it in place. We're going to have 3 along the edge here, and then if we move up and towards the center, we're going to have 2 more that are holding it in place. So you're going to want to grab a 10mm socket, and we're going to remove those bolts. Now over here right by the exhaust on the passenger side, in the top corner, there's going to be a couple of these plastic fasteners that are holding it in. So you might want to grab a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to want to unscrew those so that they'll loosen up off the fastener. Okay, we did find that we're going to have to move our wheel well liner cover out of the way, and there's actually a hidden fastener right behind there. It's just going to be another one of those push pins. So grab that flathead screwdriver, pop the center section out, and we can set this aside. If we move to the inside of where our frame rail is on the driver's side, we're going to notice that we have several plastic and rubber plugs inside the frame on the bottom. We're not going to have to worry about the ones on the inside on the vertical section. We should be paying attention to the bottom of the frame. Then we're going to grab a flathead screwdriver, and we're going to pop all of these rubber and plastic plugs out. Now the ones that have the small notch in them can actually just kind of unscrew them a little bit, and they should come right out. And we're going to remove all the rubber and plastic plugs on the passenger side as well. Moving over to the passenger side, we're going to be removing our tow hook here. It's going to be held on by 2 17mm head bolts. So we can grab that socket and pull them out. Now, we're not going to be reinstalling this because this is just in place in case of an emergency, and our hitch will serve the same purpose. Now, you'll notice once you pull all those plugs out, we're going to have 3 threaded holes in our frame. Now, it's a good idea to clean those out. Even though they had some plugs in them, we want to make sure the threads are nice and clean. So I'm going to come back with a little bit of spray lubricant, spray a little bit in each hole, and take a nylon brush and clean out all the threads, make sure there's no rust, debris, or anything else that would cause problems. Now, on each side of the frame, those 3 weld nuts are going to be our mounting location. So we're going to have our bolts from our kit, followed up by a conical tooth washer. There's going to be some teeth on there. You want to make sure that they're facing towards the hitch. Now, with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch into place. You're going to want to go over the exhaust. May have to kind of pull down a little bit to get it into place. And we're going to line up the holes in our hitch with the weld nuts in the frame. Now, for right now, I'm only going to get 1 in place on each side, just so the hitch will support itself, and then we can get the rest of the hardware in place. We can put the rest of our hardware in, hand tight for now. We can then grab a 19mm socket and snug up all of our hardware. Now I'm going to come back with a torque wrench. I'm going to torque down all my hardware, and we'll find that specification in our instructions. And just so you know, it may be a little bit easier if you use an extension to kind of drop that torque wrench down so you have a little bit more room to torque the bolts. And we'll repeat that for all of our remaining fasteners. I already marked out where we're going to need a trim on our plastic appearance panel, and they do give you a guideline in the instructions. But to make sure, we're going to go ahead and just kind of loosely put it up there. Line it up as best as we can with the fasteners and see where our hitch is going to be interfering so we can get an idea of where we need to trim. I'm just going to be using a pair of tin snips. You can use a razor knife or whatever you have available. Just want to make sure you make your cuts nice and clean, and we can come back and clean up all the extra marks that I have here. So we can put our panel back up, make sure that our cuts line up. Once you have your panel back in place and everything lined up, we can start putting our fasteners back in. We can take a little bit of cleaner and we wipe off all the marks we made when we measured out our hole. And that'll finish up your look at the Curt Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13282 on our 2017 Lexus RX 450H.